Hey, what's going on, guys? As you can see, the Golden Guys, it was past their bedtime this Tuesday. So unfortunately, they will be back to their normal schedule next week. So if you guys like them Golden Guys, definitely check them out next Tuesday, 10 p.m., or watch them on them reruns. But unfortunately for tonight, you are stuck with the Modern Men. So basically, what we're going to do on this show tonight, and hopefully we'll have a few more people join us momentarily, is we're just going to cover some modern reads that we like. So usually on Tuesday nights, we cover the older stuff, the golden books and that type of stuff. But I'm just like, you know what? I just feel like talking about some of my favorite reads from the past 20 some odd years here. And actually, before I introduce our first guest, let me add one more person to the stream here. There we go. So just joining us, we have JB from Discovery Bay. What is going on, man?
Hey, how you doing, man? I'm sorry I'm late.
No worries.
The kids and wife got home from the shopping, and next thing you know, what the heck? So, hey, everybody.
Happy to have you here. And then next up, we got combing his beard, so it's in its full majestic form. We got Comic Man Andy. What is going on, man?
Getting my nightly reps in, yo. Got to keep my beard game strong.
Awesome. So basically, I figure the way it's going to work tonight is like I just picked a bunch of hardcovers and set them in front of me. So I figure we can kind of go round robin here. We'll just talk about one read here, and then I'll talk about it. Say, like, oh, I like this read because that is what happens in the book. And then you guys can tell me if you read or your thoughts on it, and we can kind of just go round robin basically, and then Andy can do the next, and JB can do the next. But first, before I show my first modern pick for modern men ever, let's get to this chat over here. So let's do the chat gimmick. So because I have full powers now. The first guy in the chat, we had Chris Barrett. What is going on, man? Happy to see Chris Barrett again. He followed me from the my Tuesday night live stream to here. So thank you so much once again for joining us, Chris. We also have Vu Hong. What is going on, man? Happy to see Vu Hong in the chat, as well as Ben Compton. What is going on, Ben Compton? And Barbarian Kung Fu just joined us. What is happening? All right. So my first pick, it's a big one. It's a doozy. It kind of, for me, this big, huge book established. So basically, I picked for my first pick the single storyline that got me into comics, the death and return of Superman. So for me, this thing, my first comic ever was Superman 75, The Death of Superman. So basically, this is a template for me, in my opinion, of what represents 90s comic books. You have a character, he gets killed off, he gets replaced by a bunch of people, and then he comes back and whips everybody's ass. So basically, for me, reading this as a kid, I couldn't believe that they killed off Superman, but luckily in Adventures 500, they brought in my boy Connor Kent Superboy, they brought in Steel, John Henry Irons, and we even got that stupid Eradicator guy. I didn't care much about him. And then we got a really awesome bad guy in Cyborg Superman. So I mean, that was just mind-blowing to me as a kid trying to keep up with these four characters through the four Superman titles. But this was so influential, they basically did it with like your main core DC characters. So obviously they did it with Batman and Azrael and replacing him, then bring him back later. They tried to do it with Wonder Woman and Artemis. Didn't quite work out. That didn't last too long. Probably the most permanent ones, well, they did it with Wally West Flash in the 80s, but the one that really sticks out the most to me is the Green Lantern going from Hal Jordan to Kyle Rayner. And like I said, they even did it with Green Arrow. So for me,
what year was that?
I believe this was like 92 going into 93, if I remember right.
Okay.
So, like I said, this was very influential in getting me into the hobby. So, did you guys ever get a chance to keep up with any of the Death of, or Return of Superman stuff?
Okay, so first I want to tell a quick story about the Death of Superman. So 92 would have put me just coming out of high school, really, and I'm really not really collecting comic books too much, but I do go buy several copies of this because that's what I do. And I tell my father, hey, this is the Death of Superman. He's like, well, that's impossible. Superman can't die. I said, no, Pop, I mean, I'm sure, he's been around for a long time. They're probably going to do something different, but he's dead. And my dad is like, bullshit. Superman can't die. If Superman's dead, I will never read another Superman comic ever again. Fuck, all right, Dad. No problem, man. By the way, Superman's dead.
Whoops.
So, in turn, when he returned, I wasn't having it. Just in ode to the old man, I was in my private boycott in a drunken stupor at this point. That I was not going to be on New Superman. So, don't know anything about Superman after that until I just recently came back and read the Bendis run. That's where I got back into Superman.
Nice.
Yeah. So there you go.
All right. Before I get into Andy's thoughts on the Death and Return of Superman, we got the Great Legends Show joining us. What's going on, man? How you doing today?
Dude, it is so great to be here, man. It's so great to see Andy and JB. I know JB hot off the heels of the Alaskan freaking Ferris wheel.
Right.
Heels and wheels.
Man,
No, man,
what
out on the ice.
incredible trip.
Was there any more ice up there?
Yes, so there was actually still 3 glaciers that we saw. And because I was smart enough, we bought this what do you call those, GoPros?
Oh,
I got a GoPro
nice.
and I stuck it to the side. We had a balcony and I stuck it to the side thing and I just let it go. I put a 128 gig in there with a brand new battery and just let it go. So when we're all sitting on the balcony and that piece does crack, and we were lucky enough to see a piece go and drop,
man.
I was like, I got it on the GoPro. So,
It's all about that. What is it? The ozone layer's depleting, man.
right?
Man, that's
Beautiful,
you.
good times.
Great to
But
see
I'm
y'all
so out of
tonight.
touch with comics, man. I came back and I immediately, first thing I did on my Monday with my daughter was I went and got my House of X.
Oh, now you
Because
talk about a modern read. Damn.
You can't even turn on YouTube without this coming up, and I was not going to be spoiled. So that was the first order of business on my Monday after unpacking and taking my daughter to a doctor's appointment and playing some Star Wars. But, you know,
Oh, okay. Well, I had that. Priorities. That's what it's all
priorities,
about.
man. Priorities.
Well, I'm glad to be here, Carson. I'm glad to see Andy and JB here for some modern men. And, you know, back when I started, gotten back into the thing around 2011, 2012, you know, I was going to get a lot of DC. But I tell you, I'm going to talk about some Image titles tonight. I've been digging.
Image.
So,
Nice.
Awesome.
yeah, it's awesome, dude. I'm excited to be here, man.
Dude,
Awesome.
love it, man. Love it. Carson, come on. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the L to the E to the G. All the way to the end, baby. His legends, he's in the house.
Man,
Very
excited to
nice.
be here, man. So excited. Like me and Carson and Chad, we were live last night. You know, Alec was feeling under the weather, and we hope the man gets a lot better. And then tonight, modern men taking over the scene because golden guys, man. I don't know. I think old Sophia's in the hospital, and Blanche and freaking Betty White and damn all of them. Dorothy. God, I don't even remember all their names.
They
You
don't
know,
do cheesecake tonight.
But Monday through Friday, people, you can always expect to see something live on the Comic Core, man.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Hopefully tonight's fill-in show will be serviceable for those Comic Core fans out there. But next up, I want to go to Comic Man Andy. Andy, what is your first pick for a great modern read?
Oh boy, I gotta get me some '90s gimmick, yo. I gotta get me, and you know me, Punisher, baby.
Mm.
90s Punisher,
Oh,
so
yeah.
good.
All that's near and dear to my heart is the Warzone run.
Oh, there it is.
Wow. Okay.
Die cut cover was so fresh and so clean. There's so many 9.9s of these on the market because they're so easy to grade. But this whole Warzone run was full of amazing covers. And as a kid, I got sucked in by the covers first and foremost. And then the story.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the Warzone story was great for the first half of the run. It did get a little slow, mind you, but one of my favorites. One of my favorite covers. God.
Now, who did that cover? Is that some JR?
It is JR. Yes, sir.
All
JR.
right, man. I tell you that. Look, I haven't read Warzone. I got on there when Punisher was getting that facial reconstruction, so he was turning black. I don't know if it's called. I don't know. I get all the names mixed up, but Jigsaw I think did it to him, and then him and Luke Cage battled. That was cool. And Jimmy Palmiotti did some freaking. What was it? He did the inking on a lot of that stuff.
Yeah,
Some
dude,
of
that
those 90s
middle of that volume 2 run, volume 2, that was like the Rikers Island breakout. With
Yeah.
some of those covers are just straight up 90s.
Remember the
love.
wanted dead or alive color? It was like brown, looked like a brown grocery bag.
Yeah,
Kinda.
that was
Yeah,
a
there was
good
that
one.
one. And my favorite is where he's he's escaped from Alcatraz. And he's coming up out of the water. And his face is all wrapped.
Oh, with the bandages.
And he's always lunging out of the water. It's like I got to dig through like 5 boxes to find those covers. But
I had a good chunk of that run, but sadly, it had to go on the Legends live auction. But it was a great read back when I was a kid. That was my first introduction to Punisher when I was in junior high, and I'll never forget it, man. Andy, so tell us more about the War Zone. Like, what was he going through in those stories, man?
God, the thing that comes off the top of my head was he battling the mafia through that. And God, yeah, it's been a long time since I've read that. I'm glad I dug it out. I'm going to start reading it again this week. So it kind of escapes me, but it's a lot of the mafia battles that
I love those. It's like some of the coolest thing about comic books. You know, if you look at Batman or if you look at freaking who else can? Well, I don't know. Animal Man's probably tangoed with some mob too, but you know the jerk offs trying to kill the dolphins. But I mean, so many great villains just come from your normal human villains and not the super villains. You know, and man, you get some great stories. Sometimes I feel like, you know, the stories on just your normal goon villains are even better than the super villains. You know.
Oh yeah,
Johnny.
Absolutely.
I love that stuff.
We got Mr. Gretzky in the chat. He says Justice League of America 69 from December 1992 turned him into a DC collector.
Remember Doomsday gave Gumby to Supergirl's face. That was one of the lead ups to the Death of Superman, that little tie-in with Justice League.
Yes.
And our boy, was it Booster or Ted Cord that just got in the hospital? One of them almost
I was
died.
Booster because he had that like kind of Invisalign style suit that could stand up to Doomsday. But unfortunately, it was Doomsday, and then like Blue Beetle, he's just like, I'm getting the heck out of here. I have no powers. Like, I'm not going to do
Guy
anything.
Gardner
Gardner
got his ass just beat.
Yeah. Now
That
that was
whole
one of
lead up,
my
though.
first ones, too.
And I loved when JB was bringing that up, the Death of Superman thing, because that was one of the best stories, and I know Carson's got it here too. I mean, Carson, it was that Jurgens love, man.
Yep. Still my favorite Superman artist to this day. But JB, what about you? I saw you excited and shuffling for some comics.
Yeah, well,
what do you want to talk about?
Is the question what got us hooked? I mean, because my dad had some comics that I was messing up as a child, and I have those and I collect those, but that's not what got me hooked, man. There was a run of X-Men because I was hooked on the X-Men, and I actually pulled it out because I was going through some of the X-Men. And this storyline must have just been in the sweet spot of my reading. But this storyline where you get the Brood.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
do you
yeah.
remember this one?
Mm-hmm.
And I believe this might have been coming out right about the time that the movie The Alien was coming out. You know, Aliens was coming out because I remember, you know, God.
Oh man.
And
Ring app.
bam. This run is what got me just hooked.
It's one of my
Dude.
favorite covers right there.
Just
The one where he's
hooked.
carrying Xavier. I love it.
Yeah. And these are my original from when I was a kid. These are my books. I remember these and kept them in as good a condition. I should probably change the bags, man. Jeez.
Silver Age
Yeah.
David bids $1, by the way.
But
$1.
yeah, there are, and no dupes on this one. I just went through this run, and because I've been putting in all the, you know, filling in, and no dupes in this run. But this run right here, this storyline, this Brood line, yeah, that's the one that got me hooked. Anyone familiar with this run, with this series?
I didn't read hardly. The only X-Men I ever read was that Jim Lee run, and I just read a little bit of it because I loved the 90s cartoon X-Men. And that's
Yeah,
kinda
this
what
is
got me
82, 1982.
Oh, JB, well, you showing your old.
I know. Oh,
So
Man.
I started collecting in 92,
Yeah.
so I totally missed all of those.
yeah. All right. What else you guys got?
Classic storyline though, and it's one to be read over and over.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to move JB to the show Bronze Boys when that debuts.
That would be a good show.
All right.
The Bronze Boys.
Well, you were asking what got us hooked.
Oh,
That's
you're
it.
good.
Now, if you're worried about modern, we'll come around the next time. We'll talk about what we're reading
No,
now.
I'm definitely good with those books, man. Those are some awesome, especially since those were your OG copies.
This is the
Yeah,
OG
take care of those
copies right
bad
here.
boys, man. Those are awesome. Before we get to the great legend, I do want to acknowledge the chat once over one more time. We got Silver Age Dave. What's going on, Silver? Always happy to see him in the chats. He's definitely one of the best out there. Chris Barrett says Jurgens love is something we can't talk about. Some Dan Jurgens though, so we'll still talk about it. Gretzky says, I had a bunch of those Punisher Warzones, Punisher War Journals, which I paid 25 cents an issue for. Yeah, you can still get those for some great prices out. I see them in the half price book bins all the time. So definitely, if you want that stuff, it's out there. Go find it. We got the Mastodon Comics and Collecting. What is going on, man? Gretzky's also talking about John Romita Jr. on the Punisher stuff, so people love that.
Beautiful Punisher covers. Batman Punisher, was it JRJR looked good too.
We got the Slab Dragon TJ Watson in the chat saying, those damn youngsters, he's waiting for his golden guys to wake up from their naps. And we got he's out of lurk, and we got Perry Comics, the Blue Blazer himself. What's going on, Perry? All right, Legend, what's your first book up for the night?
And like, how many do we get here? Can we just like talk
I got
about
a whole stack. We'll keep going until.
Well, I don't. It's over there on the old bookshelf on the bottom row. It's under the Shazam and the Fantastic Four. What are those, masterworks or masterpieces of those trades of the Fantastic Fours? But man, I got to go with. And I found out about this not in my junior high years in the 90s, but when I started watching the comic book community, I saw Howler Mouse talking about this damn Alan Moore, Dave Gibbons Watchmen, man. So, you know, it took me a while to get there, but I got me an awesome hardcover. I don't know if it's ultimate cut, director's cut, whatever, but dude, the Watchmen hardcover, I read that bad boy. You know, it contains, of course, the 12 issues of the Watchmen, and the cool thing about those covers, they always like have that clock going and everything, and you're getting one hour closer to Doomsday or whatever it is, or the end of the world, World War III. But man, I loved reading that because you got about 3 different stories inside the comic. You had that Voyage of the Dawn Treader, which was the little boy on the corner reading the comic book of, it's like an old school style, golden age style, like, what do you call those, conquistadors and buccaneers, you know, this pirate type stuff. And then the other kind of story you got, not comic style, but written style of what happened to the artist, what happened to all those famous people. And we found out that Ozymandias had them like on an island, you know, creating this monster or whatever that he was going to unleash on freaking New York. But man, I read that Watchmen. I loved it so much. I love the artwork. I felt the artwork really fit the story that Alan Moore was trying to tell. I never read any story like that. And it was kind of I'd seen the movie first before I read the book. And the movie was awesome too, but they both have different endings, which make it so much better because it's like, you know, you watch the movie and that's like a totally different way that, you know, New York got destroyed, but then you read the book and you find out it's this big ass monster, which is classic 1960s, 1950s Jack Kirby monster destroying the damn city. So I got to go with Watchmen. And then I also have the Before Watchmen hardcovers, but there's like 4 of those, and I think they have, you know, 2 sets of each thing in there or something, but I haven't read those yet, and I'll probably read them a little bit before the new movie comes out. And of course, you know, I know Drew doesn't like when we talk about this title, but once the Doomsday Clock comes in hardcover, I'm going to get that hardcover and put it with my Watchmen hardcovers on my bookshelf. So I love that stuff. Okay. So I implore any of you out there that hasn't read Watchmen or at least seen the movie, man, give it a try. It's really cool.
Nice. For me, I mean, the Watchmen, I mean, it's taught in college courses. Like, it is probably like, if you're getting into the medium or new to the medium of comic book collecting, like, that is essential reading right there. It doesn't get better than that, in my opinion. Actually, I plan on, once that series hits HBO, I'd like to do kind of like a live stream style thing and just have a panel where we just talk about Watchmen.
Dude, I'm down. Let me know I'm down with that. One other thing I loved about Alan Moore, you know, he was wanting to originally use characters like Blue Beetle, like The Question, you know, these different, Phantom Lady, and I don't know if it was Phantom Lady across with some other, but you know, you got Silk Spectre or whatever. But man, I just loved how he did all those characters. Of course, he had to create his own characters. But what's really funny, and I never meant for this to happen, a lot of them were those quality comics, those Charlton comics. So you had these kind of characters, and it's weird. I've got a lot of those characters like first appearances, like Phantom Lady, Question, Blue Beetle, Ted Cord. That's awesome. Know, and I never really, you know, put 2 and 2 together. But damn, those characters are cool. Night Owl, Blue Beetle, you know, it's kind of the similar. You know, it's awesome. I just love it.
What do you guys think of the Watchmen?
He said it great, man. We're required reading.
Teaching it at school.
I must confess, gentlemen, I have not read Watchmen.
That's all right,
Yeah,
man.
that's fine, man. What I want
I
must
probably wouldn't have
confess,
read it.
yeah.
I wouldn't have read it either. But
for that
Yeah.
HBO series, I want you on that panel, and I want your first Watchmen reaction
Okay.
to what you think of that book.
All right.
I don't
Sounds
think you'll
good.
be
I'm
disappointed.
in.
You never know if all the. I mean, there's like 30 years of hype behind this thing.
is it
Yeah.
is it a remake or is it a continuation? Or
It looks like it's just a continuation. This premise is super weird. It's from the guy who created Lost, basically. So it's who knows what kind of show it's going to be like.
could have those flashbacks in there.
Yeah.
The head
Now,
game.
they've already had Manhattan picking up a button, and you saw his blue hand. So we'll see what happens there.
Okay.
Before I go to my next pick for a read we're going to talk about real quick, I will acknowledge the chat. We got DS Comics. Well, at least one of the Golden guys has woke up from their nap. So happy to have DS. Hopefully do his Tuesday night time slot proud tonight. And we have Strange Tales to collect. What is going on, man?
Hey, Strange Tales.
What's up, Adam?
So my next pick, I'm sticking with Superman because when I think modern era, goodness, I think me some Superman. I actually read some of this before we hopped on tonight.
Wow.
All-Star
Oh, one of my favorite writers.
One of maybe the best Superman read you can find. Grant Morrison, Frank Quitely. Took a little bit longer to come out, but it gave Frank Quitely the extra time to put his craft in the art. And oh my God, they do not waste 12 issues. It is 12 continuous issues of just awesome. So basically, this is its own thing. When they created the All-Star Universe, they tried to do it's almost like an Ultimate Spider-Man type thing. I think they originally wanted to do a separate imprint, but the Batman and Robin title tanked so bad. I don't know if anyone's ever read that one or not, but
Was that the Jim Lee Frank Miller one?
yeah, Frank Miller was
Oh.
kind of just completely out of his mind when he wrote that.
He was like, Batman was really like kind of verbally abusive to Robin in that
Yeah,
one.
he's like, I'm the goddamn Batman. There's that one.
I never read it. But I heard about it.
If you read it as a comedy, it's actually a pretty funny read. But at the time, they didn't tell anyone. Like everyone took it so seriously. It was, and it took forever to come out too. But nonetheless, by the time All-Star Superman came out, in my opinion, it probably suffered a little bit because of the mixed criticism of All-Star Batman and Robin. But you get a really good read here. Issue 1 starts off with basically just he wanted to tell Superman's origin in one page, and that's what he does. And then you actually get the story of Superman. He's flying too close to the sun, trying to save this scientific crew. But turns out this was all organized by Lex Luthor. So Superman finds out within issue 1 that he's dying. So you get to see Superman issues 1 through 12. He's going through these 12 trials of Superman, and he's trying to kind of like make peace with everybody. Especially he starts with Lois, obviously, in issues 2 and 3. And it just kind of goes from there, and it evolves into this like final showdown between Lex and Superman at the end. But the one I read before we hopped on here was actually All-Star issue 6. Where you get to see Pa Kent have his heart attack and pass away. And you actually get to see this like tear-jerking moment of Superman having to like fight crime basically instead of go spend his last moments with his Pa. But then there's Superman from the future, and I don't want to spoil too much else from there, but it's a touching story. It's a really nice like middle point to the whole series. But if you guys read one Superman story ever, I highly recommend All-Star Superman. It's phenomenal.
That's
Good
awesome.
stuff. This damn ring.
Definitely
I got the Ring app too.
Damn, what the hell?
definitely getting Wood the gold medal for the heavy lifting tonight.
Yeah, he's killing us.
Yeah.
He's got these huge books.
The cons to get stuff. So like I got I'm one of these absolutes signed by Alex Ross up there. I don't
Is it
recommend
calming the other.
cons. No more. Never again. What you got, Andy?
Oh
Yeah.
boy. Well, we were talking Punisher. Let's keep it on Punisher. You know me. I'm not a one-trick pony, but come on now. So if you talk Warzone, I got to bring up War Journal, man, and one of the best covers in War Journal, in my opinion. Ooh, got to get me some Jim Lee goodness.
Yes.
Oh,
I love the Jim Lee.
I got to get this signed by Jim Lee one of these days. I love that cover. This run is. I'm a cover fiend. I love reading comic books, but I will always be a cover fiend. And if I remember correctly, they utilized this cover or something similar to this cover for the Nintendo video game back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Something
I do
really-
remember that.
And gotta get that out with Jim Lee.
Look at that cover. That's beautiful, man. Look at that big ass sniper gun on there.
Now, what I really liked about War Journal is they did kind of treat the storyline throughout the years where he was writing in a journal and actually sharing his thoughts, kind of giving you a little insight to his madness, to his descent down the spiral sometimes. And I like the tie-ins. I really like the tie-ins in the War Journal run. And most people don't remember or don't realize how scarce the final run of these books are. The last 4 or 5 issues or 6 issues in this run are super low print, super hard to find in near mint, and just a really good read. Just really good.
I hate when they do that, man. When you're going after your run, and then it's like, oh damn, I got to make sure I get these things before they sell out too quick.
And I'm gonna cap it off here, just for the Comic Core family, just for the listeners. I'm gonna go full pinkies out.
Oh,
And the first comic book I ever bought, and it's not this one specifically, but it's the first one that got me into collecting. You guys have seen a peek of this, but the family hasn't. And that's that 9/9 War Journal goodness.
Wow.
9
Click on your
freaking
screen.
9/9.
Look at that.
What?
Damn. Look at that.
Very nice.
One of only 3 in the world right now in the census.
Oh, damn.
That's pretty sweet, man.
And I
Wow,
don't
well
think
done.
with that paper quality, we're going to get many more of these 9/9s.
Well
That is the first comic book I ever bought off the rack as a kid and started reading was that War Journal run. And when one of these came to market at a price I could afford many years ago, I had to have it. And
9/9. Wow.
Punisher books are super affordable. And, 10 years ago, a 9/9 like this, people weren't really going for it.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
That's the book that'll never leave the collection.
Those are the best kind of books, man.
Yeah.
Stay with you forever, like that
Yeah.
one behind JB's left shoulder there.
All right, well, if you were able to go to the well, again, then I'm going to have to go back to the well. And we're just going to go a little bit earlier. We're going to a couple years earlier and talk about the Dark Phoenix saga.
Okay, nice.
Right? Because this was another storyline that was just, I'm in. And I just recently got this whole run again from The Boy Who Had 7 in the individual issues, but in the, I think it's called X-Men Classic. So, yeah, I was going through these, and I'm trying to figure out how you group this stuff together. And I say, you group it with the trade that is just a really good story. So, who out there has not read this one? If you haven't, this is definitely worth a pickup. What do you guys think?
The Dark Phoenix stuff, I remember watching the X-Men cartoon. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't know too much about the X-Men,
Yeah.
but when they did like that crossover with the Shi'ar Empire and the Dark
Yep.
Phoenix stuff and all that, I'm like, I am hooked on X-Men. Where can I find these books at? So I think that Dark Phoenix story was like the first one I was really bought in on.
Chris says I'm on the wrong show.
Bronze Boys, baby. That's the next one.
Stuck in the Bronze Age.
We're just
All right, now we're going to go ahead. We'll
We're all
go
good.
ahead. All right.
All right, before we get to Legend, I do want to acknowledge some of the stories that the chat is throwing out there. The number one that seems to be brought up is Batman Long Halloween from Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. I agree. Phenomenal story right there. I almost picked that. I limited myself to one Batman pick. And once Legend, Hot Dog Grandstand, while Legend picks his next book, we'll go ahead and get into the chat then. Chris Barrett, yeah, that's pretty funny there. JB, he's waiting for that Bronze show to air.
I know this
Long
one's from
Fox
the
Diving
2000s.
X-Men in Space was awesome. We still got Silver Age Dave in the chat. I think I saw, yep, there he is. Jester Reekin in the chat. What is going on, man?
God, what's up, baby?
Collect still in the chat. William Bird, what's going on, man? How you doing tonight? He says, I crack up imagining Batman saying, I'm the GD Batman, but in the Adam West Batman voice. That's pretty funny. Mastodon says, Death and Red Sun, he dies.
Oh,
A
yeah.
copy of the other. Yeah, Red Sun Superman. That's another phenomenal pick for a great modern read, in my opinion.
Coming out on the DC Universe is one of them animated shows pretty soon.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right, Legend, what you got?
Well, one of my stories, I found out a buddy was telling me, 2 buddies actually, It was so weird because one guy at the library kept talking about it, and then Who Dat Comics and Movies was talking about it because the artist who does this series lives in Louisiana, and I'm talking Chew. Man, great freaking read here. This is the Omnivore edition. I had to buy my own copy. I read the library copy like crazy and buy my own copy. So this has issues. The Omnivore editions has issue 1 through 10, and they had 6 kind of Omnivore editions. I got the other 5 over there, but I didn't have these in singles or anything, but I got them in hardcover, and I'm so glad I did because it's a damn good read. I love the artwork by Rob Guillory, and the John Layman stories kick ass. It's about Tony Chu, who's a Cebopath. I think that's what they call it. Cebopathic, where he takes a bite out of an apple. He could see where that apple's been from the harvesting of the apple to the store it was in to who ate it last. He can see all that stuff in his mind, so he can go back in time and see how that apple got there, who the last one to bite it was. And one of the funny things is that he does in here, and it's in this part for the first time. There's a dead person. And I know that's not funny, but it's set in the future. Let me give you a little background more. They outlaw birds, chickens, and stuff like that because there's some kind of pandemic where you can't eat the chickens or whatever, and they're trying to figure it all out. But anyway, to discover some clues, he takes a bite out of like a dead body and to see the clues. And then at the point, the other cops that didn't know his Cebopathic powers, they're like, "What are you doing?" They take him in because he's like eating a dead body. But it's just a kick-ass story. I haven't finished all of them. I'm in the middle of the 12 to 20 range in that second book, but I did get my hands, but I just love this whole series so much. I had all the hardcovers. I had to at least get issue number 1. So I got me an issue number 1 of the Chew first print. So I got that. I was able to get it not too far off, as far as, things get popular pretty quick, but I got this when they were in about issue 35 or 40. They were still releasing single issues, but man, I just had to get this bad boy, and I just love the art. Like I said, love the story, and it's an Image comic, so they do really good. Image has been doing some kick-ass, work. Of course, we had our awesome 90s Image love, Shadowhawk, Spawn, Savage Dragon, Youngblood, Wildcats, Wetworks, Brigade. I mean, they have all of that crazy stuff, Pit, but the new school Image, I guess starting with, Walking Dead. I know there's a lot of Walking Dead fans. I've got the omnibuses of those. I don't have any singles, but I'm waiting on that 4th omnibus. I think it comes out in November, and then I'm going to read like through the whole damn thing. It'll be one of my fun things to do. But Chew, y'all check Chew out.
Legend. Can I get a quick 30-second story in about Walking Dead, man?
Hell yeah, man.
So Walking Dead, man. I don't know when we got into it, but way back in the day, that was the first 9/8 that I bought, and I bought that black mature reader's label. And I had to get permission. I had to get permission from the missus. I'm like, this is going to be amazing. Watch this. It's going to be expensive, but we paid a couple $100. That book, when we sold it in 2012, paid for the entire open bar at our wedding for 200 people.
Wow.
That book sold for like $1,500 to $1,600, and we only paid for it. We caught that on the upswing, man. That was the biggest flip I had ever done before, and we were never planning on it. We were just big fans.
Dude, that's like a $1,500, $1,600, $800 flip or something, man. It's insane, dude. That's a good way.
Very nice.
One single sale got so many people tipsy that night and had such a good time. That was I'll never regret selling that book. I regret not having that book in my collection, but I'll never regret selling that book for that reason, because that was perfect.
That is, man. That's for freaking Kurt Hennig. That's Mr. Perfect right there.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, that was when I started collecting and reading Wizards in the 2000s stuff. I'm like, yeah, Walking Dead is a great book. My favorite issues were that they were, feuding with the governor, basically, like that through 48. Some phenomenal stories there. But back to Chew, like, oh man, I have all 6 volumes over there, all Rob Guillory sketches inside them. And one of my favorite things about them are just the things that Guillory likes to sneak inside of his panels. Like there's one where he just has the main bad guy from Bloodsport as a poster in a restaurant for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah,
I wish you could find the exact issue, but I forget which one it is. And then like anything, it's kind of like The Simpsons. Anything with a sign or a label has an inside joke in it, and it's just absolutely hilarious. So it can be serious when it needs to be serious, but it can keep you laughing at the same time. So I love me some Chew.
One more thing, Carson. The only time I've ever fanboyed at. Whoa, Carson, you funny guy. But man, the only time. Oh, okay. The only time I've ever fanboyed out on anything. There he is. There he is. Not when I see him. He's a box full of gimmicks. Everything on his screen's a gimmick. But the best time I ever had was when I met Rob Guillory at Chicago Comic-Con. I had Woodard with me. I was so excited.
Yeah.
I forgot to take pictures and video, but Rob Guillory, he was just freaking laughing, man, because he thought it was so funny because I was so animated and excited to meet the guy. God, I should have just hugged him or something. I'll get him next time. How about this modern Marvel? Chad, what are you doing, brother?
Nice, Chad.
I'm sorry. It's great to see Discovery Bay. I was worried about you.
I'm back. I'm back. Did you watch the intro, man? Come on.
It's been a long day. But I got my fern. You like that?
You do. You got a fern.
Awesome. But when you guys were talking about modern age and everything like that, like one of the books that I would have to say that like is one of my favorites is my key is, and I have it. I have to go pick it up. I'm going to get it graded in Baltimore. It's going to be this one right here.
I know Chris Barrett likes that one.
Nightwing 93. It has this scene in it. But I was talking to Carson earlier, and I went back and I read today on the DC app, and I know I have all of them, so I'm going to go pull them. This was an absolute phenomenal run.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I read it cover to cover all the way through Convergence, and oh my God, was that good! But like my all-time favorite, more modern day read was Kingdom Come.
Oh God, I forgot about that. That was good.
But it's funny because in that Earth 2, they actually fight the Kingdom Come. Like the Earth 2 people fight the Kingdom Come group.
Damn.
Interesting.
I got those singles out, but I still need to read them.
I mean, it was so good. I mean, it was written really, really well. And like Carson and I are huge the JSA fan when
John's.
Yeah, when John's is run. So just to see these guys take those same characters and make them even more interesting, I mean, it was awesome. It was super, super awesome.
Yeah, I need to read all the JSA stuff, including the Earth 2. But yeah, Kingdom Come, I've been saying for years, I don't even care if it's in like a certain art style. I would just like to see like a Kingdom Come movie of some sort, like the animated style.
I think they want to make that into one of the animated. They were talking about that for a while there, but I think they're sticking with like certain things that can stay within the continuity. I just didn't like how they redid Hush.
The Kingdom Come, though, one great thing I saw was when Macho Head, Comic Head 84 did his review on Kingdom Come, and I went ahead and read it. I got it from the library, read it, and man, I loved like the kind of biblical aspects they had on it, where they took that preacher and then Spectre was leading the preacher around to kind of see all the action as it all played out and how that worked, and of course, it had my boy Billy Batson in there. And then, when Billy sacrificed himself with that lightning in the clouds, it was in the shape of the cross. I thought that was fucking awesome, man. Awesome.
Yeah, I love that story.
Discovery Bay's got more gimmicks than me. Look, he just disappeared. I gotta learn how to do that.
He's getting after some of his stuff. Let me think. Did I already go?
Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah, you went with Chew.
Oh, Chew. Okay, that was mine. Chew. Did I do anything before Chew?
Yeah, you did Watchmen.
Oh, wow. Damn, I'm forgetting what's going on here, man. The modern.
Two solid picks so far.
Yeah, two good ones.
You're killing it. You're killing it, Legend.
I want to get back, say hi to some new people in the chat. We got J Hood Creative in the chat. So definitely.
Oh, yeah, J Hood.
Check this guy out, sub him up. He just released his first video not too long ago, and he had an amazing intro. It was a lot of fun. So definitely check out this guy. He's got some cool stuff going on his channel.
Good idea.
Young in his YouTube career, so check him out. Next up, we have my first subscriber ever, Legend. We got Fish Tropic.
Fish Tropic here.
Fish.
If y'all need some good information on how to set up a good fish tank, man, check this guy out. He blow his fish tank, of course, blows mine away. I just need to change my filters a little more.
Chris Barrett saying his all-time favorite DC story is Injustice. Yeah, that's a pretty solid pick right there.
I got those.
We still got Longbox diving in the chat. See you later, Mastodon. Hope you have a good night. And then we got Dave Enrique says Walking Dead is a great flip story. Absolutely. Maybe not so much now, but there was a time, man, where that was a phenomenal book to flip. It's still a good one now, but
I just realized something, and I totally forgot about that. That Kingdom Come, I have that. It's over in the fruit cellar.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Waid and Alex Ross signed that.
Ooh.
I got
He signed all of the. They signed all three of them.
Mm-hmm. Damn! So you got your original First Prince signed by the creators, man. That's
cool. I remember when I got it. I went to an Alex Ross exhibit at the Andy Warhol Museum.
Mm-hmm.
And Legend, you'll love this.
Downtown Pittsburgh.
Yeah, on display when he was 12 years old. Or no, I'm sorry, 8 years old. He recreated Wiz #1, page for page. And it's better than half the artists that are out there right now.
Oh, CC Beck, man, what are you going to do? I mean, drawing like Charlie Brown, that was the shit back in the day. That was a peanut style.
But I mean, Alex Ross did it. I mean, you just think about that, like some of his stuff.
An 8-year-old or something, yeah.
Yeah, man. And Mark Waid and Jim Lee are going to both be in Baltimore. So, Andy, if you want to get that signed,
that'd be awesome, man.
Nice.
I think I know a way you can.
And James say nobody ever talks about Alex Ross's Justice miniseries. Yeah, I got that absolute up there too.
That's fantastic.
Where he liked Aquaman, and Elongated Man has some good moments in that too, if I remember right.
Mm-hmm. How about all the in all of Alex Ross's? He does a lot of Easter eggs, so it's like a movie. Yeah. So I don't know if I'll find them, but in Kingdom Come, when they go into the bar, if you look in the back, you see Zan and Jan, and you also see all the village people.
Ah, that's so funny.
And the so when Batman's robots are protecting Gotham, they see these kids stealing this purse from this woman and they run away, and it's Fat Albert's kids. It's all Fat Albert's kids.
Them Fat Albert's kids. They didn't have that mush mouth with the whole.
Yeah, they were dropping Quaaludes or something.
Oh my god! all right. All right. Damn, you said the Fat Albert, so I was remembering my childhood. Then when you said Quaaludes, then I remember what the man became. I was like, oh damn it, yeah. Gone too soon. Gone to jail.
So I brought one Marvel book with me. I guess I'll click on.
Right, what you got?
See this.
Finally, a Marvel.
X-Men Messiah Complex.
Ooh.
First hardcover I ever bought, actually.
Ooh, I have that.
The reason I picked it is because, in my opinion, this is one of the last times X-Men is a creative team all the way down to their A and their B titles was firing all cylinders. So for your writing staff, you had Ed Brubaker,
nice.
Peter David, Craig Kyle, and Chris Yost, and Mike Carey. So they had an Uncanny title, a regular title, and an X Factor and New X-Men were the 4 titles that tie into this.
Carson, was that the introduction of
very nice.
Yeah, this was the introduction of Hope Summers. So this story stems from after House of M, which I almost picked that as well. Where there's no more mutants. And the reason this story happens is because Hope Summers is born. So obviously after House of M, Scarlet Witch utters the words no more mutants, and it takes the mutant population down to 187 mutants. Mm-hmm. So when Hope Summers is born, that brings it up to 188 basically. So every mutant community, anti-mutant community, like the Marauders and that stuff, it gets on everybody's radar the second that baby is born and inhibits some sort of power. Mm-hmm. So this miniseries is basically just everyone either trying to protect or kill Hope Summers. And the big person who tips the scales in the balance toward saving Hope is Cable. So everyone thinks Hope is screwed, and it cuts to a splash panel where it just shows Cable with a baby on his back. And I think he just utters the words okay, now it's time for the hard part or something like that. But then you got artists on this like Mark Silvestri does a lot of the art in it, Billy Tan, and Humberto Ramos. So you had phenomenal writing, you had great art. Something I hope with the Hickman stuff, X-Men can reach again. But in my opinion, one of the finest X-Men crossovers, like post, like I could have picked Astonishing X-Men or Grant Morrison's New X-Men. Thought about picking those two, but I feel like this one's less talked about than those other ones. So I figured I'd just go ahead and bring this up. So phenomenal read if you guys get a chance for it.
Hey, JD, you're more Marvel guy, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm thinking about going back and getting I'm replenishing my stuff, and what it started off when the Avengers like completely got decimated. That turned into, I think they were going against Wanda. That's when Hawkeye got killed, right?
Well, it's funny he mentioned that, and there was a boo in the crowd because my next story was House of M.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
I think House of M.
yeah.
And
That's awesome. What was that? Was it called Avengers Dismantled?
Disassembled.
Disassembled.
Yes.
Disassembled, yes.
Because they always say Avengers.
Hold on. Chad's a very strategic guy. This guy's like Game of Thrones. He doesn't mention something unless there's a nugget in the future somewhere. So what's No, seriously. He's like, if you see something in the background, it's for a reason with this guy. So he's dropped a little nugget now. Everybody pay attention. Go ahead and take a little note because something's about to happen in the future. Watch out.
But if you think about that, Disassembled actually led into like the entire reboot of Marvel. I mean, they won't call it a reboot, but like Disassembled and House of M, right? And
I would think so.
Wasn't it Wanda in both of that though?
Yeah.
I don't know. Was it Wanda and Disassembled? I'm not familiar with reading that one actually. I know I read the whole House of M, and she just. Yeah.
Carson, was it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is what like started it. They kill like what is his name, like Jack of Hearts or whatever.
Yeah.
And, like Hawkeye gets like vaporized basically, and that kind of just starts the downturn of the Avengers, leading into the New Avengers. And I think it was the New Avengers and X-Men. I think it was the Astonishing Ones crossed over into House of M. That's where we get House of M, if I remember right.
And that's when in House of M is where
Wanda utters no more mutants because
that's when Hawkeye comes back. Right?
That's where she
for a minute. Yeah, he doesn't like. He's in the spinoffs, but I think he's pretty much killed off again before. Like basically, he's brought back in the House of M universe, but then he gets killed off before they get back to the regular. I can't remember exactly how they even brought him back, to be honest. But I'm pretty sure he gets re-vaporized again because he isn't real or something in the House of M universe. So I'd have to read it all again to remember correctly. Unless someone in the chat remembers, but
I really wanted to say some spoiler thing right now, but I did not say any spoiler thing for House of X if you haven't read it. But man, the door wide open right there.
That was a phenomenal read. I like the Spider-Man story in it.
Oh yeah, no, I was talking about that. I guess we're kind of jumping the sharks on JV's pick, but anyway, I was talking about the Superman Annual 11 yesterday. And I think that story was almost the basis for House of M because it puts Superman in this reality where it's his perfect reality. It makes it so he doesn't want to leave that. They kind of did the same thing with all of the heroes in House of M because you have like all the mutants, they're kind of hero worship now in their universe. You have Spider-Man who's married and basically has a family, which he gets really mad when he finds out that's not real. And you have Wolverine who's like in charge of S.H.I.E.L.D., with his own band of mutants, and they're all working the S.H.I.E.L.D. together. So in my opinion, it takes the principles of that Alan Moore story and just sprinkles it into a universe-wide story in House of M.
Very good. That was nice.
And House of M for House of Mouse. You never know what Disney's going to do next, you know?
Right? You never know.
So House of M and the No More Mutants, but that all stemmed from Colossus when he injected himself with the serum.
The legacy virus, yeah.
Yeah. That like kind of those Disassembled and that legacy virus that catapulted Marvel where they are now. I think Marvel had a minute there they were off track, but right now I think they're kicking on all cylinders and they're putting out some of the best books out there.
Fucking hey, we got Drew Manchu up in here, people, but we can't go. We can't go without talking to Comic Man Andy. Comic Man Andy, what's your next pick, man?
I gotta go a little more modern with what I think is a pretty undervalued story right now. And we were talking a little Image earlier, so it made me think to grab this is Oblivion Song.
Ooh.
Yeah, hell yeah.
It's still really early. I think, what are they at? Issue 18, 17, 18, 19, I think they're at right now. So I think when this starts panning out and the story starts getting deeper, man, Robert Kirkman's taking us on another ride. I mean, the covers are deep. They're detailed. They leave a lot for the imagination. The story is amazing, in my opinion. It's one of my favorite reads every month when I'm just waiting for that one to come out and see where it goes next.
Oblivion Song, man. That's a great song to sing, dude.
Not to mention, though, everybody's really geared up for, being able to see things on the big screen, too. That, in my opinion, translates well. When you take a chunk of a major U.S. city and wind it up in another dimension, and then add in trying to save people and trying to survive with a whole new element of weird aliens and all this, it fits. I don't want to spoil too much for anybody that hasn't read it, but man, that's a good story.
Freaking awesome.
Yeah, I might get the hardcovers of that one at some point because I do love me some Robert Kirkman, but I kind of missed the boat on Oblivion Song. I think I read the first issue, but not the second. So I do plan on reading that one at some point.
Cool.
Nice. JB, any other thoughts on House of M? I think we got all our thoughts.
No, but I will tell you, do I need to get out of the 90s and out of the 2000s? Is that what you're saying? Do we need to get more current?
No.
Just pick what
Okay.
you want to talk about.
Well, because a couple of the things that recently when I first, just came back in last November, December, Cosmic Ghost Rider blew me away. I loved it. Every freaking issue I thought was hilarious, and I look forward to reading it. Right now, I'm absolutely 100% hooked on Die. I'm hooked on this series. There's a lot of good reading right now, so I don't want to get all into the current modern, but those are two series that are definitely things that I'm following for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've heard really good things about. Aren't they getting ready to do a regular Ghost Rider title coming up soon?
I don't know. I know that the last one I wasn't too fond of, the Ghost Rider, that destroys Marvel history.
Well, they're doing
that was really kind of a letdown. But the current Venom run has been fantastic.
Yeah, Venom.
If you caught Venom from one
Venom book.
and you've paid attention, it's been fantastic. So, and this new Absolute Carnage, I think, is shaping up to be something good. Marvel's killing it right now. He's right. Marvel's killing it. So, there's some good reads.
About to do that whole 2099 stuff coming up too, right? Re-releasing a lot of that. And Ghost Rider's in on that, I think.
I've seen your boy Punisher 2099 and Doctor Doom 2099 on one of the covers that are coming out. Looks pretty well. It just looks like a kick-ass throwback, man. Of all those futuristic characters. One of my favorites that I got back into, and I had to get these on the rewind because they were a little before 2011, 2012, but was the Sixth Gun by Oni Press. I got the little display on here. This is the free comic book day edition, but it's signed by Cullen Bunn. Cullen Bunn's one of my favorite of the modern day writers. Cullen Bunn and Brian Hurt, and got the little Brian Hurt remark of old Drake Sinclair up there. But it's the story of there's six guns. It's called the Sixth Gun, and it's a story of there's this general, and his name's General Hume, and he has some guys that ride with him. They call them the Sons of the Gun, and there's those four guys, and then there's General Hume's wife or whatever. But General Hume's gun, and I'm kind of talking the prequel portion here, but supposedly General Hume's gun is able to see the future, so he can pretty much any kind of big battle that's coming along. He knows how to defeat the people because he can see the future. He can see all their moves.
All right, I heard you.
The woman's gun is one of those guns. Every time she uses it and kills someone, it keeps her younger, which is pretty cool. There's the gun that's basically you fire it off and it's like an incendiary grenade where it turns the person into fire. One of them's a gun they fire off that does an explosion. One's a gun that does it's kind of like Borderlands guns, actually. It does this caustic poison acid damage, which all your skin falls off and you turn to bones and just fall down. And then the last gun, you could shoot like a dead body and they come back as a mud kind of monster. So the thing is, Betty Moncrief, this girl here, she finds one of the guns that her father, which the father was like an old priest. He's got one of the guns. He's got the gun that was General Hume's. This is so cool because you get some dark shadows in here too. You get the General Hume. He's got that gun, and you find out General Hume is locked away in some place where there's chains around the coffin, a la Barnabas Collins. So it's just a kick-ass story. And, you know, whoever controls all 6 guns at the same time, that means, you know, they rule the world and all that. So really good series. I haven't read all the series. I've got all the issues scattered around in these boxes, but I've got the first 2 volumes of the, they call it the, it's not the Gunslinger edition, but it's the deluxe hardcovers. They're these big hardcovers, and they're kind of like the omnivore editions of Chew. They have 10 issues, and this series went up to I think about 50, either 50, I think 50 or 60 issues. But they've got the Sons of a Gun prequel, which is a little mini series. They got and 2 other mini series, I believe. But Six Gun by Cullen Bunn and Brown are really good. And if you like this, they first got their start in Oni Press by writing a comic known as The Damned, which was also a good comic that combines mafia with hell and demons and spirituality. And that's a kick-ass story too by Cullen Bunn and Brian Hurt. So the Six Gun and The Damned, if you go back in time to read them on the rewind.
Chris Barrett brings up a great point that Oni Press did the first Blunt Man and Chronic as well.
Ooh, Blunt Man and Chronic.
See,
I've never read. I didn't know that. That's some good what was that info on the down low from the CB.
So we do have one quick question in chat. We got aggressively relaxing. What is going on, man? He says he likes the host, but wants the show's gimmick. Basically, we're just filling in for our friends, the Golden Guys. They couldn't make it tonight, so we had a joke of a show called Modern Men instead of Golden Guys. And we're just taking turns talking about good reads, man. That's all we're really doing here tonight. Just sitting here, having some fun. My goal for tonight is hopefully somebody takes away at least one of these stories. Like, that sounds like a cool story. I think I'm going to go read that. So that's kind of my goal for tonight. So I definitely plan on reading that trade. I still have it over there, Legend.
Okay, gun. It's so cool.
We can bring
my
back.
wife read it. Wife loved it as well. We got the trade for her to read. Damn, do I still have that trade? It may have been one of the ones I got from the library. I ain't letting her read my singles. They in the Mylar.
Thaddeus says Cullen is one of the best.
He really is. Cullen freaking Bunn. He had a nice Sinestro DC series. I mean, he's done just so damn much. I don't even know all the books he's done, but I've thoroughly enjoyed a lot of his writing. So Cullen Bunn, and he's kick-ass. I was supposed to interview him in Chicago, but he stayed up late with a little bit too much of that sake or whatever he was drinking that night. So he did a no-show when I was supposed to interview him, but that's all right. We'll find him again one of these days.
I think Chris Barrett's onto something. Golden Guys got stuck at the early bird. They're probably still at Golden Corral, yo.
Yeah. Oh, not a damn contest gimmick.
I'm gonna do one because
man, you better send this.
I see you got some good books sitting on top of there.
Don't let Jason Smith mail these. People will never get them.
I found some shit.
All right, what do you got, Chad? The camera's on you.
You give me those Alex Ross signed ones if you can find them.
we got this, but this shows how bad I am at sending things out. To Jeremy from Scott Snyder.
Oh my God, dude! Are you talking about Trinity Entertainment, Jeremy?
Yeah, it says
he had been in the community for 2 years.
It's the Jeremy Scott Snyder. And,
Let's see the front of that. Let's see the front of that cover. God damn it, has holes in it, bro.
Are there any other Jeremys in the chat tonight?
I have the Jim Lee. Oh, here we'll do this.
Oh no!
All right.
We'll do Jim Lee on Damn.
All right.
Very nice.
1 and 2.
You got any trivia for him, Chad?
Yeah.
What page is Batman's Wang on?
Exactly. Perfect.
All right, everyone in the chat, what page is Batman's Wang on? Let us know in the chat below, and you're going to win this book tonight on the Modern Men premiere episode.
Well, you better find
Chris
the answer
Barrett
first,
says his
Chad.
middle name is Jeremy.
Call it the Richard Hunt tonight.
I'm definitely calling him Chris Jeremy Barrett for the rest of his YouTube career.
Thaddeus
I
says
Oh,
Unearthed by Cullen Bunn is amazing as well. I need to read that.
Oh, look at this pick from Gretzky. The Spider-Man story clone saga.
Oh yeah,
Nothing says
God,
modern
okay.
age.
That. Page 5, is that right, Chad?
The
Hunted.
ASM Hunted
Hunted.
storyline. That was a good one.
That's a
This
good
one
one.
was awesome.
How about
You
page
Gretzky says page 5 for the Wang.
Oh, is that correct?
that was
I
quick.
get- I'm gonna find it.
He might have it. Who knows? Longbox Diving also says 5.
Oh my God! So I think if this
Barbarian Kung Fu tried to guess every page.
When I
I don't know how that works.
KF, baby, Barbarian and the host.
Barrett saying 16.
They're not numbered.
Ah,
Oh, I got to count them. Holy crap.
Andy threw that
and Chad can't count.
in the air.
So we're going to be
All
here
right,
a
take your
while.
socks off. You can
The
come
first
on.
appearance of the Wang was on.
Let me
How
click.
you threw that beard comb? It looked like David Letterman throwing some of those top 10
I'll start counting. Come back.
Oh, don't
All right,
show
so
them
we'll
the
go
screen.
back to chat about
show that
20
on the
minutes
screen.
when he figures this out.
We
So
don't want to get
I
this.
guess we'll move this show along. I'll go into my next pick. So
All right,
I
what's
had to go for a little something different. I went to the image wall on this one.
Okay.
So my next pick is The Wicked and the Divine.
Ooh,
You
nice.
get some phenomenal storytelling by Kieran Gillen, who he keeps killing it on these indie titles lately. And he had Jamie McKelvey on the art, which he's one of my favorite / underrated artists out there. Actually got this double signed by him, so gotta love that. But I'll just read the back of the book, and you guys can judge for yourself. If you like this. It says, every 90 years, 12 gods return as young people. They are loved, they are hated. And in 2 years, they are all dead. It's happening now, and it's happening again. So basically, in this one, 12 almost like God-like people are brought back, and they're basically pop stars. They're almost musical acts. It's kind of like imagine American Idol, except they're gods. And meanwhile, you have like the people who kind of manage and are above them. They're either conspiring against them or they're really like certain gods. So you see a lot of these people get killed off in the 2 years that way. But basically, you have like all these teenage god / pop idols trying to figure out what they're going to do for 2 years and if they can live past 2 years. So very interesting premise there. One of my favorite characters is named Lucifer, or just Lucy. She's kind of like there she is right there on the cover of issue 1. But basically, she has like devil powers, but yeah, she doesn't have too much good luck in this book. But it's just a very different read, and it's a beautiful read because you have McKelvey on the art. So highly recommended for me. And I guess it looks like JB had to take off. So thank you for joining us. JB says dinner time over here. Got to run. Thumbs up, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. So once again, Wicked Divine is my pick for the next one.
What do you think, Chad? Is it page 16?
No.
Damn.
All right, so the guesses can keep rolling in. So 5, we got 14 from Ben Compton. How's 14 sound?
You're halfway there.
Oh.
All right, so whoever multiplies that by 2 has a pretty good chance of winning, I guess.
Did you guys ever read this though?
Yeah, it's a good one.
That guy
mean-
needs to brush his teeth.
It's the Joker, man.
Azarello and Bermejo, if I remember right.
Yeah, it's by. I mean, and those two guys wrote. They did an awesome book called 100 Bullets.
Mhm.
Oh,
I always thought 100 Bullets would be an awesome video game.
We got Chris Barrett at 28.
No, we got to keep on going.
You said halfway at 14?
It's almost there.
All right, so we got 26, and Gretzky's the next number I see that would be close.
Ooh, look at that little run. Oh, I thought I saw some surfers there.
Says page 8. We got a page 12. I guess just say when you see it, Chad. But other than that, I'm curious to hear about Joker.
Oh man,
Yeah, tell me about that one.
This book is freaking. It has Batman at the very end. No, not just referenced, but it's basically Heath Ledger's Joker.
Dude,
And how there's this one guy that's trying to join his gang, and it's just showing how twisted and deranged he is. During the long, it all takes place in one night. So they come across the Penguin, Two-Face, Killer Croc, Harley Quinn, who's a stripper, the Riddler, and there's this one scene in it where they're at the strip club.
Well, we may not want to show it on camera, though.
No. And the Joker has taken one of the guys in the back, and he has skinned him alive.
Jeez Louise.
Damn.
Look at that art style, man. It's like really violent looking.
And the guy just comes out onto the center stage. His name's Tammy. He's working through med school, trying to get a.
We got some Chris Barrett at 29, Ben Compton at 30.
Signed. No, the Batman Damned aren't signed. Sorry, man.
What
I wish
like
they were.
has anyone guessed the page yet?
Did somebody say 30? First person to type in.
Is that BC? I got Ben Compton that said 31st on mine. What do y'all have?
Yep.
Okay, so is it 30, Chad?
It's 30.
All right,
Okay.
Ben Compton, congratulations. You're
The
the winner.
BC.
You get the Jim Lee.
Hey, Chad, can you put your Gmail address so Ben Compton can send you an email?
Yeah.
And then that way, Ben Compton, you can give him your mailing address to the email. So make sure you write down this email address. And while Chad's doing that, what do you think about that Comic Man Andy?
I think it's time to zoom in on comic.
Yeah,
We got to
he's
get
super
where's that beard?
cocky.
Where's your
He's
beard
cocky.
brush? Sexy beard, man.
Across the room now, he threw it at Chad.
There it is. Yeah, I loved it. That was probably one of the funniest Andy moments on the court when he laughs so hard he throws the beard comb. That was fucking awesome.
Yeah, I love this family, man. This family.
Barbarian Kung Fu says 31st. We'll go back and check it out.
Oh yeah, was Barbarian up there? Yeah, well, Barbarian may get it then.
He said 1 through 30 is what I see.
Ah,
Yeah, nice try, bud.
what you got, Andy?
Well, for another pick, and this kind of gets overlooked a lot, because it's kind of not as much of a read as most comic book stories, but the Punisher Armory was super fun. It's got some sweet covers, especially the Jim Lee cover #1, and it got a lot of us in the 90s into that kind of like MacGyver-esque thought process where like, look at these toys, look at these gadgets. He gets a knife that he can shoot from across the room right out of the hilt. That's too fun. And then if you're into gadgets and you're into a lot of other stuff, he talks about all the different guns they use, all the different stuff. And it's actually kind of fun because you can kind of tell when some of the writer or some of the artists aren't really gun people or anything like that. And then they kind of like make it up as they go. And it kind of looks futuresque. It's really neat. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Nice, man. I haven't heard of that.
Did you see what's the guy's name that plays him? Barthol?
John Bernthal?
Johnny
he kind of like screwed up at a con recently and said that, they've been talking to FX.
A little. I heard a little bit. I didn't read too much into that.
And then I saw where the Daredevil one has been confirmed for FX with the original cast.
That's
Well,
all.
if they're going to start tugging one string, Daredevil, Kingpin, Punisher, that stuff's just going to follow, man. And a lot of people are talking either FX or Hulu.
I don't know. I'm just.
As long as they do justice, man.
Yeah, I was excited because I saw the El Camino trailer today.
Oh, yeah, that was nice actually to watch that.
Dude, that's something to talk about on freaking Thursday right
I
there.
know we got a lot of stuff.
They talk all about that.
When I went to what were you gonna say, Andy? You got something for Chad?
I mean, if we want to like pay really close attention, keep an eye on Terran Tactical on Instagram and some of the other social media platforms. That's where a lot of the people go to train. Like Johnny B went to train for the Punisher role during the first and second season. Keanu Reeves trained there for the John Wick movies. Halle Berry trained there for her portion in John Wick, and they post some pretty amazing content. But that's where a lot of people train pre-show.
Keanu Reeves though, straight up badass.
Damn.
I mean, like when he went to that training, I think he broke a couple records. Didn't he do it? Like he said that he like when he took the role, he really wanted to learn how to shoot. And like if you get a chance, watch that video of him training there, and he's like pow, 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 pow. Just
And these they're not gadgets. These aren't, when you look at Terran Tactical, this shit's not made up. They're not making this up for the movie. Those are real tactics. Those are real things that people really train to do in combat and in real life.
Dude, that is so freaking awesome. You know what's really cool? Y'all mentioned John Wick. For all y'all modern folks that love the books, man, you got to check out that John Wick comic. I haven't read it yet, but man, they've got some cool covers. You've read it, Andy?
A little bit. I flipped through it, but it's in my reading pile in the back. I got to get to that.
Damn, that's so cool. I got one. I went to the Duncanville bookstore here in Texas, and it's going to be one of the places you're going to get to see on Mr. White Glove's Splash Page Comics Across America videos he's going to be doing pretty soon. I get a little cameo in there. But I asked the lady, I like talking to the shop owners and stuff too, and like see what they're into. And she wasn't the owner, but she was working there. I said, what's some of the stuff you like to read? And it was one of the ones I like to read as well. And I'm talking Saga, man. Saga, a kick-ass story. You got old Elena and Carlo, or it was Carlo as Elena and Marco, not Carlo, Marco. But man, great story. They got some gender relations here. I don't know what the hell's going on. You know what I'm saying? But they're not allowed to mate or whatever because these two types are at civil war. So you get a little bit of that. Romeo and Juliet style. You get a little bit of that Bo and Hope, and Stefano Demera's trying to break them apart, and all that kind of crap. You got the Will, which is that awesome bounty hunter with his lion cat, and you got that Stalk lady, or I think it's Stalk lady or Stalk, but she's like a spider-looking lady, and you got the freaking Prince Robot the Fourth, and he's got that storyline. So you got all these miniature little storylines going along. And it reminds me, oh my god! And there's the kid, the Hazel kid.
Yep. We all have to talk about that one, I think.
That one, that is the brand new. That was the newest hardcover, right?
Yeah, so this is hardcover 3. This is the story so far.
Oh, Andy's got him too. Hell yeah. There's the Stalk lady. That was the issue 2 one, right? Was that the issue 2? The Stalk lady.
This is the ghost variant for number 7.
Okay, damn. So freaking cool. You got some. Oh my god, so we were all going to talk about. Yeah, we had to. This was like the best one.
We were just waiting for that to drop. Look up behind you, Legend.
You got I love it. You had him up there, but we couldn't see it because the camera.
I was just gonna show for like modern reads, like the death is this one.
That ain't no Saga, man. I'm just kidding, Connor.
This is better than Saga.
Oh no.
Hey, and modern reads. How did that get in there? I must have found it.
Where'd you find that? On top of the refrigerator? Oh man, we're like Bobby Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon. Goddamn.
Damn.
That's it.
Back to Saga real quick, man.
Back to Saga.
Should I pick Y the Last Man, or should I pick Runaways? Because I only wanted to pick one, Brian K. Vaughan, and I decided to go with Saga because I assume most people here read it so far. I picked this volume in particular because this is the Empire Strikes Back right here.
Yep.
Stuff goes down crazy in this. So, Legend, if you haven't read this far, get the other.
I haven't got up to it yet.
So we can talk about it, because there's a lot of things. Like, this is where it goes like insane.
When I finish that series, we're going to take over that Monday Comic Core with White Whale. We're going to talk Saga, brother.
Yep, it's a good one.
Andy's down with that one. Andy is down. We're all down. Chad, have you read any Saga?
I read the first arc. But that's it.
Hey, Andy, what do you think? What's some of your Saga fun moments?
Okay, so like a quick 30-second story is when my wife and I got back into collecting comic books, we were trying to have a child. Mm-hmm. And we discovered Saga about the time that we discovered we were going to have our first child.
So and you guys put on like TVs and have sex?
That first page, though, that first page, you open it up and she describes the situation. I'm not going to spoil that. Everybody's got to pick it up and read that first page when you open that up, and that'll hook you from the beginning.
So good.
Dude, man, I'm listening to Andy. Dude, you're good on the mic. I'm enjoying this.
I hope so, man. I got to bring it with the Comic Core family, with the Simplemans family, man. It's all good times. But Legend, bring that book back up, man.
This one here, I got this not as good as that increase you had, but I got this in the 4 figures, the low 4 figures. But
we gotta bring this book up for everybody that doesn't know. This is Pinky's Out when Pinky's Out needs to be Pinky's Out, yo. This is the retailer incentive at 9 freaking 8 people. double signed. This is the
Double
1% of the 1% for Saga collectors right here, baby.
This is that holy grail for the Saga collectors. This one, really good. I don't remember what year I got this, but it was really early on in the whole Saga hype and everything. I mean, what the funny thing was, we had a comic book roundtable with Howler Mouse, Costin Bromstar, Hippies Collectibles, everyone. Big shout out to Cammy, aka Cammy. I can't remember your YouTube name offhand, but she was a humongous Saga fan as well. So everyone was talking about the Saga hype. Everyone was ready for it. And then the first day when Saga came out, I just got my one copy or whatnot. I had to get this off the bay, but I may have got this at 3 figures. I can't really remember. I don't keep up much with prices, but it always floors me when something like this like skyrockets, because you're like, well, shit, I got lucky, you know.
Well,
but,
yeah,
it's awesome.
I think it's a 1,500 print run on the book originally, and then when you grade it and you get a 9.8 and you get a double sign, how many of those are out there on the census? Less.
Comic Man Andy dropping the knowledge.
I mean, he is a Saga fan, no doubt about it, man. I tell you, we got to get him on the Friday show. We got to get him on Monday when we start because we got to go through the Saga, man. And when Carson, I love how Image does those like 10 issue like hardcovers.
Yeah,
I've got so much, and I need more room on the shelf. I got a lot of Carl Barks and Don Rosa and Dick Tracy taking up all my room over there. But
yeah, because I think there's 3 of these total, and this is number 3. So
okay, so
there's not too much. They actually put like I think closer to 18 issues in a hardcover on these.
Okay,
They load these up.
Andy, what was the number that they stopped on? You remember?
54, I think it was.
54. I think it's going to be 108 issues total.
Yep, they've
54 is the halfway point.
Yeah, they confirmed that next time they come back, they're doing another 54. And I believe the reason why they're taking such a long break is that when they come back, they're not stopping till they're done at 108.
Dude, I can't freaking wait. But I'm going to Reader 1770. Thank you, Mr. Gretzky, because Mr. Gretzky was around when all the Saga was going down. I mean, I went to the store at Lone Star Comics in Plano, Texas, and I saw this dude. He had a freaking stack of like 10 or 12. I just grabbed like my one, all the first prints, because I got it for the read. I didn't know it was going to be worth all this, but if I do, I would have bought extra copies. But I'm not that kind of guy. I can't foretell the future very well when it's all about speculation. It's
a book to hold. Take spec and set it aside. It's a book to hold. It's the story of this generation that transcends comic books. Go search Saga on YouTube, and you'll find more than a dozen people that, hey, this is my YouTube channel, and I'm not a comic book collector, but Saga got me into it, and they're pulling people in droves for this book that they're continuously reprinting the trade paperbacks to provide that content for people that are just finding out about it. And what was it? 2012 did it start? 2013, 2014?
2012, yeah.
So you're 6, 7, 8 years after it started, and people are still discovering it. And it's a story that is going to outlive a lot of other stories.
Mm-hmm. You know what's so cool about it, Andy? When I was reading the stories, and I'm only up into the 22s, I think the last one I read was when the father of Marco. I get that
Marco's
name
the father. Yeah,
I suck at their names, but the wife, I think it was his father passed away, and then Hazel's grandma was really into that guy that wrote those romance books.
Oh yeah,
yep. That's where when I stopped. And it was just
it gets better.
Each time I read an issue, it really felt like I was watching an episodic soap opera. Like I was so hooked. I wanted to read the next one because it always left at like a point where you were like, fuck, I can't wait to see what the next one is. And the shitty thing about comics is they come out monthly, whereas soap operas come out like weekdays, every day. But I loved it, man. So you're exactly right, Andy. This is a story I'm probably never going to sell that, because when a story is that good, like the Sixth Gun or, Fantastic Four or, my Shazam stuff, and Chew, and since I did bring out Saga, I'm just going to go ahead and show my last book. I'm not even going to say much about it. Carson knows probably what this is. Got to give it some love right there.
Nice.
A little farmhand.
Farmhand number 2.
Now this is Farmhand 1. I got a little sign. I
bought it off
can?
eBay.
Ash can, a little $99.
Nice.
I spent a little 99 on it, but has my name on it and everything. No, but it's the Ash Can edition. I'll probably send it to CBCS, get one of them nice red labels on there. But or hell, yeah, I don't know what I'll do. I have issue 1 but I probably won't ever get it graded because I got to have, one to. I'll get this graded, but not my number one. But man, Farmhand, this time Rob Guillory on the art and the story, and he knocks it out of the park, just like Carson said. You look at the backgrounds and the little signs and things in the back the Easter eggs, and I just start laughing when I read them. And that's what comic books are originally made for. Comics in the Sunday newspapers. I mean, they're laugh out loud funny, and they always put a smile on your face when you can be in a very bad place. So God bless comic books, and God bless no monetizations. I'm just kidding.
Oh, boy.
I love me some Farmhand, man. Like we met Guillory together, got to sign those Farmhands, and that was one of my favorite experiences at C2E2 this last year. But yeah, just all the stuff he sneaks into the background. It's like I'm still looking for all those chogs he has snuck into Farmhand because they're there.
One more time for the big screen for old David. Near Mint Comics, baby. I got a near mint one for you, man, with double sign, retailer incentive cover. There ain't no one other like the Saga.
Oh,
Freaking
dude, gorgeous.
awesome book.
We had Drew in the chat, Drew Manchu. I think he's probably going to be putting up a review tomorrow or tonight, whenever he gets to it. Ricky Markstedt stated that something about Doomsday and the Time Stone. No, he can't, because Doomsday is unstoppable forever. He just keeps on regenerating. Chris Barrett asks, how big of a fern do I want? David, seeking near mint, says, what the fuck's up with the fern?
I love it. What the fuck's up with the fern? Fucking fern, man.
You were talking so long, I fucking
Hashtag what the WTF fern or something.
Hashtag Fern Gully off the rails, yo.
Yeah, we're off the rails.
I just
Carson, what, you got another book?
Yes, I do. I didn't know if Chad had any more books. I figured I'd just troll him with his own gimmicks.
That's the box of gimmicks.
Do you have any other books behind that gigantic fern over there?
I don't want to show.
Right, hold the phone. We got Karen Figures is in the chat, Chad.
I'm trying to get her on the show. I sent her a text.
Come on, Kat. I want to know what Mark's eating. I got to know.
He's not. He's just drinking right now.
I guess I can go to another book while we hot dog and
grandstand. I'm all out of books. I'm just here.
I got I think two more. So I'll go ahead. Yeah, we'll do this one next for my Batman book. This is kind of a Batman book, but it's not really. It's got Gotham Central, Volume 1.
That was a good book.
Yeah, Gotham Central's pretty awesome. So you have the writing team of Ed Brubaker and Greg Rucka on this one, with the art of Michael Lark. So you're going to get imagine a book like Criminal that takes place in the DC universe. Not only that, but it's about the Gotham Central Police Department. But they write out Batman as much as possible. So the stars who shine here are the officers of Gotham City. Mainly the one who sticks out probably the most for me is Renee Montoya. That's where you kind of find out about her whole background story and the persecution she had to fight against working in the Gotham department. Meanwhile, you got stories like with Gotham City trying to fight the Joker. I think the first one actually has to take care of is Mr. Freeze. They would just find a dude frozen in his apartment. So let's go after Mr. Freeze. And Mr. Freeze come on, it wasn't me. It was he was frozen. It's got to be you. So it's just they're trying to do as much of their job as possible without Batman involvement. So when Batman does get involved, they get pretty unhappy about it because they want to do their job and what they're paid to do. And I got this one signed by Greg Rucka too. So there you go.
So nice, man. Is that Silver Sharpie? I love those on black, man.
Silver Sharpie. Cool. Yep. Boom. The Protect and Serve Greg Rucka. So highly recommend. There's I think 4 volumes like this. There might be an omnibus edition now that's on In Stock Trades and Amazon. If anyone actually wants to check this out, it's a pretty solid read, especially if you like Ed Brubaker's Criminal or stuff like that. I highly recommend it.
Awesome, dude. I got a what are those things, like a runner-up or like you get that green ribbon of participation award. It's back on the Shazam hardcovers, but it's that Power of Shazam hardcover, the first printing, and it was the hardcover version, nice slipcover and everything. All the interiors are done by Jerry Ordway. They're all painted interiors. Freaking love it. And that book was so popular. Then they got the Power of Shazam just comic series. I don't remember when it was in the 90s, but just a phenomenal run, and it kind of modernizes the whole storyline of Billy Batson and Shazam and the whole Shazam family. I mean, some of the painted artwork on the covers of the first volume of Power Shazam, where you have Captain Marvel Jr. fighting against Captain Nazi. I mean, damn, I mean, the covers are beautifully painted covers, and they look like throwback covers to like Golden Age style. I don't have any of them out, so I can't show them to you, but read them today on the DC Universe app. You know, it's awesome.
Ben Compton, I got your email.
The BC gonna get some Batman Wayne coming soon to a town near you. Make sure you have a lot of lube when you read that book.
Is he over 18?
Man, he better be, otherwise shit just got kind of rated R.
How old are you, Ben Compton?
Jesus Christ.
I know, right? Shit's going off.
Anyway, Andy, let's click on Andy. Andy, what you got? You got anything left, Andy?
All right, yeah. I don't have any books left, but let's talk about Saga a little bit more.
Yeah.
So, seriously, though, 9/8, 9/8, 9/8, 9/8. That white cover, people, for a story that transcends so many other stories, that white cover, that solid white back, and that mostly white front is going to be so hard to grade high, people. Right now is your best buying opportunity on Saga Comics, as low as that is right now. I'm not saying it's ever going to get optioned, because that story is so good and so difficult to put on screen and actually take it to the level it needs to be delivered on screen. But it's not, they're not making more. It's, you know, like land. They're not making more land. It's not going to get cheaper. It's not going to become more abundant as time goes. Get those 9/8s if you're a collector in Saga. You're a completionist like me. Get those 9/8s while you can, where they're at affordable prices. Use your eBay points, people. When you rack those things from your eBay purchases, hell, I got the third print for $60 with all my eBay points.
Man, so freaking awesome. You'd mentioned something really good. My granddad owned a lot of land here in the town I live in, and a quarterback for the Cowboys named Roger Staubach wanted to buy the land from him for, I don't know, like $1 million or something. And at the time, it was like early 80s, and Staubach was a pretty big business guy around here. And my granddad, my dad was like, you ought to go for it. And it may not have been one, but it was some millions or something. He said, you ought to go for it, Dad. It's Roger Staubach. You ought to go for it. And then, you know, my granddad says, well, let me tell you something, son. You know, when you're talking about land, God ain't making no more of it. And man, God ain't making no more of them. So neither. So y'all gotta buy today. One other funny little story. I think my granddad just was intrigued by the whole idea that it was Roger Staubach. My granddad was a huge Cowboy fan, and it's at my dad's house. But I got a signed 8x10 Roger Staubach to Robert on it. But it's at my dad's house. I'll have to bring it one of these days. And I think my granddad was just wanting to meet Staubach like I wanted to meet Rob Guillory. You know, so good shit, man. Good shit. Y'all listen to Comic Man Andy. He is one of the unsung heroes of speculation comics and stuff. He's a big proponent of that CBSI, Simple Man Comics, and Mr. Bolo. If y'all didn't know, now you do. You need to get the specs because they're looking at you. Make some bucks and don't give a, you know, you're going to have a good time. Here's Who Dat Comics and Movies, Carson.
Hey, they do speculation now on Unlimited a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Damn, I got it. What channel's that on? Wednesday nights.
Wednesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern.
You can do speculation without having to delve into a 30 gazillion sites. You know, a lot of people don't realize or don't know that there's a small portion of speculators like me where we don't speculate to necessarily flip books. We speculate to maximize our collection. You know what I mean? Like, I want to buy books at $2 or $3, not $200 or $300. So I'm going to read and follow a lot of speculators, a lot of other people, not because I'm going to follow all of the buying and selling trends, but because I'm going to look for those prime opportunities to pick up those books cheap. Saga, Punisher, lots of other stuff that people talk about on a regular basis because it maximizes my collection. And am I going to look for massive profits later on? No. I mean, I buy what I love so that I can love what I buy later on and just do it on a premium, you know, like on a low budget.
I love this guy. This guy needs to be we got to get him on one of these shows freaking full time because he's speaking the freaking truth, people. And it's like you said, one thing I like about the Simple Mans and Bolo, they give you the top 10 or whatever I don't know if it's a 10, but they give you the things that the hot reads. So they're giving you like things that you may be interested in picking up for a damn good read. And if you're interested in that read, shoot, try to pick up the whole run. We all saw what happened with that Immortal Hulk. Great freaking story. A lot of people were picking it up, and then it retained its value because it's such a hot story. And when stories retain value based solely on story, then that's when you have those instant classics like Saga.
Yep. And you know what I really like about Brian and Jack is they're original. They're not gonna throw some shade anybody's way. They're not gonna sit here and tell anybody a story. This is what I love about the Comic Core family and the Simpleman Comics family is you get truth. You get people. You get who they are. We're here to enjoy you, Legend. We're here to enjoy all the people from Comic Core and whatnot. And that's what I like about what Jack and Brian have done. They spun it. They've done that pre-FOC show.
Oh, yeah.
People hate on pre-FOC spec. But let's not forget that long before there was YouTube and long before there was pre-FOC spec, what was everybody reading? Previews, baby.
Yep, previews.
This is your pre-FOC spec, and people don't like it, and it's a very hot button topic with a lot of people. But let's not forget, I was buying these before I could even afford to.
You buy those?
You know,
our shops give them free to us.
They used to send me some freebie previews, but usually I just kind of throw them in the trash. Oh my God, what is this guy doing?
Chad and his gimmicks.
That fucking fiend. Another one I like. I do like. A lot of people like bash it and stuff, but I really love that Overstreet Price Guide. I like that hardcover one. And the last one I bought, I know that I almost bought one from Duncanville Bookstore that had Joker on it. I think it was the newest one, but I got the one that was the. God, I don't remember what anniversary. It could have been 50, 60 out, 68 to 2018. It may have been 50, but man, it was the Planet of the Apes cover. Oh, I love Planet of the Apes. Don't have very many of the comics, but I love
they had a marathon of that.
Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
The five original movies, starting with Heston, to the Planet of the Apes, Beneath Planet of the Apes, Escape Planet of the Apes, Battle for Planet of the Apes, Conquest Planet of the Apes. Those five were the best.
Which one was the one with
Wahlberg?
Okay, no. We're talking the originals. So the guy from Fantasy Island ran this circus.
Yeah, that was 4 and 5. The fourth and fifth one,
and then the fifth one,
and it was at the tail end of Escape from Planet of the Apes where they got the baby, and the baby got raised into be like Cornelius and Zira's son, who. Caesar, who was going to be Caesar. And then, of course, we got those 3 prequels, Andy Serkis prequels. Oh, man, those are good. Sorry, Carson. What do you have to show with this awesome book?
This is my last
long
book.
Halloween, is it?
No, I picked one. A less talked about book. I tried to go a little bit more obscure, I guess, even though
that's a fantastic book. All the Earth ones are. I just read the Green Lantern one, which was
the Green Lantern one's good. I almost picked that one too. I just picked this one for my friend out there, Drew Manchu. We got some Jeff Johns, some Gary Frank on this book. I know that's one of his favorite creative teams out there.
Mr. Squiggly Legally.
I love Gary.
Anyway, I was like, how do you make your own version of Batman? Like, how do you make yourself different from the ones that came before that? And I guess the answer for Jeff Johns, I'm going to make an imperfect version of Batman. So, the first panels of this book are Batman. You think he's going to be menacing, kind of like the intro to the animated series, and he basically just falls on his ass, within the first few pages. And it's actually kind of funny. So it kind of sets the trend for the book. I don't want to sell this book as clumsy Batman, but it's just, a rookie Batman basically. And actually he has to rely a lot on Alfred, who in this version is a badass. He's former military. That's how he kind of knows how to bandage up Batman stuff, because he was a military medic. And by the end, he's helping Batman with a freaking machine gun, bailing him out of the problem. And then meanwhile, he's fighting the corruption in the city. Penguin's already the mayor of Gotham, so there's that. They mess with Barbara Gordon a lot. There's just they basically put a hit on Barbara Gordon to get back at Jim Gordon. So a lot of cool stuff in here you don't normally see in a Batman book. So
Do
it was actually,
the pearls fall in this?
I think they skipped part of that. It's been so long since I read this one.
I
I know
mean,
you like that, Legend.
If it doesn't have any stupid pearls, I may read it.
I don't think it does.
All the Earth ones
Thank
are
God.
good
Get off
except
me now.
for the Titans one.
I couldn't get into that, which I was disappointed. I agree with you, Chad.
I think it was the art on it.
Yeah, or he is laying in garbage.
Funny.
It's pretty funny. I think you like this
It's going to be
Legend.
like a parachute, but he just smacked down on the damn trash.
Well, he tried to jump from rooftop to rooftop and missed.
And if you get an
Just missed.
if you get an opportunity to read the Green Lantern one, it's a whole different take.
Oh. Sorry, Legend. There's the pearls.
Damn it. But look at Gary Frank can use that one panel with his face getting really big right when he knows the parent
Yeah.
dies. Look at that panel, that face right there, the eyes, the mouth, the cheeks squeezed together. I mean, that's Gary Frank at his freaking finest, people.
Yeah.
I
He keeps
don't
it
care
short
what-
and sweet. I will say that, though.
I don't care what Manchu says. I love Gary Frank. I love the New 52 when he did Shazam as the back story in the
Yeah, that was
Oh,
sweet.
yeah. That was great.
great stuff. Got the hardcover of that. Bought 2 hardcovers, one for my dad, one for me. I love it.
Oh no!
What?
He's like fucking Beetlejuice. You say his name 3 times.
Beetlejuice.
He said Drew Manchu, baby. And then he shut his mouth.
Drew Manchu, Gary Frank's #1 fan is here.
Yeah. Look, I'm going to tell you something about Gary Frank right now, okay?
What? Something's wrong. We have technical difficulties going on here. I apologize.
Look,
Did you mute him? That's awesome.
yeah, he did. Look, and this is a very positive Gary Frank comment. You guys know when I got like 14 issues of the other day for like $3 is Supreme Power. Have you guys read Supreme Power?
Nice.
Yeah, back in the day.
Oh yeah, it's like The Boys by J. Michael Straczynski.
Yeah.
It's pretty freaking cool. I read like the whole damn thing, and let me tell you, the Gary Frank art is top freaking notch. So what I want to know is what happened.
Alzheimer's, I don't know, the shakes. I don't know.
Man, I think you might be a little shaky
What are
these
you
days.
Mr. Squiggly Wiggly?
Might be a little shaky these days.
What, God, how old is Gary Frank these days?
Too old, apparently. Gone too soon.
He's doing a fine job. I hope he continues to do a great job on Doomsday Clock issue 12.
When we go to court, I will be bringing visual aids so people can see all of Dr. Manhattan's stripes.
If we ever do this show again, I will bring up Doomsday Clock.
He is
That was my final book of the night.
Doomsday
Drew, you got
Clock.
any other books you want to show here on the inaugural never-ending episode of Modern Men?
You want me to show a book?
You're here? Sure.
I'm going to get in trouble because I'm going to show you a book that I read today.
Oh.
That doesn't come out till tomorrow. But man, I told myself I wasn't going to be doing this Superman Batman stuff, but
Ooh, look at that cover.
yeah, this is a good book. Legend. Get to an
Lot
LCS tomorrow.
of spec on that one. I know.
Look,
I got
get
the
to know-
I got 'em.
If you have to read it digitally, read it digitally.
I'll
read the #1 and
Mhm.
pick this book up, because as a Shazam fan, you need to read this book. You need to read this book. Everybody needs to go out and pick this up tomorrow. This is really good. I'm doing a review on something else right now.
Are you sick?
Everybody's going to be looking forward to that probably.
Oh yes,
And that'll be out tomorrow.
Everyone loves that bad boy. You do that review, that's going to get a lot of views from the man Drew.
That's going to be every Wednesday until that stops coming out, and then I think I'm going to try to get some more juice out of that title and do a whole deal review.
Mhm.
And then I have an idea that I want to do a video and bring my daughter in and try to explain to a 15-year-old girl
Yeah,
how
you said
Powers
that.
of X and House of 10, or House of 10 and Powers of X, or however the hell you say it. Hoxpox. However, Hoxpox is going to come out. I think that I'm going to try to sit down and explain that to somebody. And I think that my daughter will ask the right stupid questions to get the reactions that I want on a YouTube video. So we're going to see if that works.
You know, Drew, I think if you do the story arc of that review, the House of X, that's going to be a lot of awesome action coming at people live on the Comic Core with Drew Manchu's reviews, baby.
I also wrote a bunch of haikus. I was going to make a video,
Oh,
and then Borderlands 3 came out. I'm not sure if you guys have noticed that my per video production has dropped recently, and that's because Borderlands 3 came out. I'm on that Xbox. Get at me. Let's go looting and a shooting.
Drew, we wanted to wrestle sometime soon.
Look, I will wrestle you anytime, but I'm looting and a shooting, Chad. You got to interrupt that with an invite.
I played Borderlands 3 before I got on the show. I was a couple minutes late because I was still on Borderlands.
Yeah, my girlfriend's like,
And then WWE, I just want to let you know I have the belt.
me and my daughter were meeting my girlfriend for dinner, right? And so she said, meet us at 7:15. I'm like, cool. I'm playing Borderlands. I got a text from her. It's like, I'm so sorry. It's going to be 7:45. I'm like, it is no problem. That is a half hour more Borderlands.
Love it, man. Damn.
Legend, what are you playing as right now?
I'm a gunner, but my gunner's different. My kids, they love to do the whole DPS crazy, high damage. I actually made my gunner to be more team oriented, so it's really big on shields and things that I do. Like when I reload my gun, my teammates get some fire damage in their guns. They get some more shield buffs, So basically, my character's good at just keeping the rest of the team alive, but my damage is a little low. But that's all right. I'm just having fun with it, And I'm helping my 11-year-old because he's up in his game with Zane, and I think the character's name is Zane, or that was just an amazing rhyme. But anyway, awesome game. And my son uses the siren on there, so we go in there and just have a great time. It's a lot of fun. Ooh, there it is.
That's a Gambit Generations cover. Make my screen bigger real quick. This is the thing I love about these Generation covers, is that there's so many nods turned in for the fans. There's like shirtless Gambit with the fingerless gloves and the bandana, and jean shorts playing basketball like he always was.
He did in the 90s, man.
Yeah, so like that's a nod right there.
Was that the one where Wolverine clawed the basketball?
All new X Factor
got pissed
costume there. That's a pretty sick run right there. I got the first couple right here.
Ooh,
I do like that run.
Oh yeah, that's a really good run. I liked it. Peter David. So yeah, this comes out tomorrow. Go to your local shops, try to find this. The Generation variants have been probably the best variants.
Yep.
Looking at probably like the $10-12 range, and those things are
I need
going for like 30 in the next week.
Ben Grimm. I need more Thing variants, man. I just love all the Fantastic Four variants, man. They're really kicking some ass. I can't buy them all, but I try to buy all my favorite ones.
What are you guys looking forward to? It's coming out tomorrow. I mean, I guess you guys have been talking for almost 2 hours now.
I haven't even checked yet. I normally check like Wednesday because I get my books all at once at the end of the month. So I'll look on there and I'll see if anything's coming out. But I don't know. I haven't checked yet.
Oh my God, this is a great opportunity. I'm like, why aren't we doing this every Tuesday night? League of Comic Geeks and all the other websites. And hey, what's coming out tomorrow?
Well, there's Flame and Sheila.
We've got Golden Guys. We can't step on their toes.
Oh yeah,
yeah. The only reason we're here tonight is because
honest to God,
JD's pregnant. I don't know what happened.
That group is special.
Yeah, it's what, Golden Guys is a great niche program for us because there's people who don't watch any other shows on the Comic Horror are always there to watch Golden Guys. So
Golden Guys is straight up serious knowledge, man. Like,
what? There is a learning curve with those guys, and I am behind it. I like to try to pick up some stuff from them, but I'll be honest, half the time I don't know what the hell they're talking about. I feel like I want to go on that show just to ask them what the hell every acronym they say stands for.
That's exactly it. And get on the chat. And I don't even primarily collect Golden Age at all. I've got one Golden Age comic book, and
I've got two.
Fighting Marines comic book because I was a Marine, and I watch that show as religiously as I can. Not because I collect Golden Age, but because if I'm out there and I'm looking Legend, and we're checking shit out, and I stumble on that $300 or $400 or $500 book for $5 at a garage sale, I can help the owner out and be like, "Look what you got. Here's what I'm willing to offer. Here's what I can sell it for. Like, let's make this happen." I mean, the knowledge is power, baby, and that's straight up.
The DS Comics in the chat representing. I mean, he is one of the Golden Age guys, finest you're ever going to see. Tons of freaking knowledge on pre-code horror. I was getting the Haunted Horror by IDW, which was the reprints of a lot of that pre-code horror stuff. This DS is the guy that has the original freaking issues. And if you want to know about the pre-code horror, man, you don't have to go very far than Tuesday nights and watch some Golden Guys with DS Comics, Knights of Old, JD Comics, and everyone's person. We always forget his name.
He's dead.
name? Midwest Comic Man, 1/5 of the hottest show on Sunday Night Live, Blasted Stashy with Drew Manchu, Huey's Sasquatch Comics, Mike Spider Grandpa, and
It's half Squatch.
Half Squatch, and Pocan Joe.
Huey.
His mama was a Squatch,
Pocan.
and his daddy was a man, and that's how the legend of the half Squatch began
In the man. And you know, Pocan, you know, G.I. Joe guy, you know, Andy Marine guy, two good dudes defending the country from all them crazy ass people out in the world.
Hey,
man.
let's not forget that Mike's a sailor.
Oh yeah, I forgot. He's a drunken sailor.
He's a seaman.
Mike was a Navy man, so
And Huey's the Sasquatch, and Paul's still alive.
no. Paul is the deadest guy who goes live on YouTube.
He's like Boris Karloff, baby.
He's like the goddamn Undertaker.
Wrap the mummy bandages around him, you know.
He's
Oh,
like the
he-
goddamn
oh,
Undertaker.
Oh man. Well, anyway, we're at an hour and 40.
Stings up there, Carson.
Yeah, I was gonna say Sting's up in the rafters. Does anyone have any closing thoughts tonight? Big thanks to Comic Man Andy for coming out. Andy, what are your closing thoughts here?
24 days, baby. 24 days to Baltimore. Going strong.
Can't
It'll
wait.
be a nice road trip. We're going on an adventure. Looking forward to it.
Excellent. Well, he snuck in at the end.
Oh, God damn. Wow.
I appreciate Drew Manchu, baby, stopping by. I had to do the mute
Oh.
gimmick once. I don't get the admin too often. So
No, good job, Seaward. Well played. I think that was a great use of the mute button. I got myself a little chuckle. You got a pop from the boys on that one. Just want to say I will have a review coming out tomorrow. It will be Powers of X. So keep your eyes open for that if you're into the X-Men stuff. I will say I said I wasn't going to pick this up.
Uh-oh.
I did pick this up, and you guys should pick this up too. This is I haven't read it yet, so it might be trash, but man, is it freaking pretty trash if it's trash. This is a pretty book. Check this one out. This is Harleen. This is the Black Label. That is a magazine size.
I love those. I love
Gimmick.
those nice covers. I saw the Black Label Superman. It was a real nice one at that Duncanville bookstore. And Drew, shout out to Drew. Drew said he got a lot of that Duncanville goodness when he was at the Dallas Fan Expo that one.
Yeah, Duncanville had a nice setup there, and I ended up getting a lot of Silver Age stuff from them. Some early Bronze Age stuff as well. Really great setup there at the con there. Dallas Fan Expo. So if you're in the Dallas Fort Worth area, check out Duncanville Books. Good
It's
peeps
really
over there.
good store. For me on my channel,
It's a
not
pretty
a lot going on. I got to get a little bit of that Gauntlet, because I got to try out my Wizard on there on the Gauntlet game on the computer, Gauntlet Slayer edition. Maybe look. I don't know if I'll put any Borderlands on there or anything, but I've got some new games I've been playing. I've been playing the Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville.
We should get a party together on Borderlands, and then we should
Get
just
some
record
gaming.
it, and we should edit it down and put it as pre-recorded video. I think that would be a good time.
Yeah, and or hell, even going live's always fun because you never know what'll happen.
Hey,
man.
we
It's
can go
always-
live, and then we can chop it down. That's a good idea.
Love it.
Get a
What
couple
other-
angles on it.
And I'll see y'all here live on the Comic Core on Thursday. I'm going to get caught up on some Titans. So I'll be hanging out with everyone on Thursday with Kat and Drew and everyone on the core for Outside the Issues.
Awesome. All right. Well, next up, he's pressing some buttons over there.
Whoa.
Chad, what are your final thoughts tonight?
Ooh.
Let's check.
Ooh. I
Nothing.
want to put in the Konami code.
I got Mika Kelly over here too. It's up, down, left, right, AB start.
Yeah,
I thought it was
I mean,
I thought it was BA select start.
See,
Mandela, man.
Mandela effect.
I
God,
got
man,
it.
I don't remember when it was.
I kind of want to. That's a Game Boy though. I kind of want to blow in where the cartridge goes.
Oh. Oh. Oh, shit. There it is. That's when you know you hit that high score. Oh my God. This is Baltimore, people. This is all Baltimore right there.
All right. No, we got.
I can't wait for Baltimore. I can't wait for you guys to come to town. It's gonna be great.
I'm good, Carson. You want me to take us out with that button?
Well, what about Carson? Carson, did you go live tonight on your channel?
Yeah, I went live at 7:30. Thank you guys so much who joined us for that one. That was a lot of fun. I got to show my Cincinnati pickup.
Is that the Tuesday night live stream was back tonight?
It was back tonight. Yes, it came back.
Jesus, man! I
did a 1 hour live stream.
I'm a little upset I missed that.
Hey, you can always watch it on the rewind. Yeah,
I could.
Still there.
You know what? I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna watch it on the rewind.
I appreciate that.
I'm gonna leave live comments as the chat goes. So you're gonna be like, why are those all random, like 2-word comments?
But yeah, definitely check that out on the rewind. But like I said, Sting's up in the rafters. We'll join you next time, and